Today we are going to discuss about a study which was conducted by Faber et al. In the year 2024. The main intention of conducting this research was to identify the quality of skill developed between the age group 3 to 6 years in children, how the gross motor function is more developing and it is going into a precisional activity over the period of time as the age progresses. So beyond just how fast and how skillful, most of the studies have visualized the quantitative results rather than the qualitative changes which occurs in children over the age progression. So the quantitative analysis which has been done is like speed, accuracy of the development from gross to fine motor movements. So this particular study gives the richer understanding of developmental milestones, and this particular study has included 182 children who were studied for the development of the quality of skill over the age between 3 to 6 years, and 3 functional key tasks were analyzed through a dexterity task manual, which is movement assessment battery for children to MABC2, to observe how the qualitative changes is occurring in children over the age between 3 to 6 years. So the 3 key functions which has been analyzed, or key tasks which has been analyzed, is one is the posting coins, threading beads, and drawing tray. All these functions needs gross to fine motor functions. More fine motor functions are much important in these functional activities. So what is the basic idea of using a posting a coin is to pick up an object, identify, that means orient the object, insert the coins into the slots which has been given, small slots which has been given. That is the basic idea of using the posting coin in this particular battery. Now threading beads is to identify how the coordination between the two hands to bead a thread into a lace is basically considered in the threading beads. And drawing trail is examining the grip, posture, joint movements through drawing the path. So what are the movements which is happening, what fluid movements is happening, these things are being observed in the drawing trail. Now the development leap which happens, a shift in strategy, is like from immature to more mature, gross to more fine motor functions, and the functions being more independent. So this study has come up with the identification of how these grips are seen in both young groups, that is, one is younger children and the older children aged between 5 to 6 years. So younger children from 3 to 4 years, you can see the red color mark and a red color graph bar, you can see that is indicating the younger children, and the blue is the one which is indicating the older children. Now here, handling the coins and the beads in younger children, that is whole hand grasp is what is being observed rather than the pincer grasp. So the whole full hand grasp is mainly observed in the younger category than the older category, which is 5 to 6 years. Whereas the pincer grasp or the 3-point pinch grasp is observed in the older children mainly rather than the younger ones. So this indicates there is a fine-tuned grip which is being observed in the children as the age progresses, from the whole hand grasp to a fine grip or pincer grasp it is moving. So the development is taking place over a period of time. Now coming to the development in hand dexterity, again the younger children is denoted in red color and the older children are denoted in blue color, wherein the bimanual task or manipulation is higher in younger children because the grasp is whole hand grasp. Whereas in the older children, the bimanual task is much lesser compared to the younger children. And they can handle, so in hand manipulation, that is, one hand is being used to manipulate an item. For example, using a particular item in the hand in such a way that manipulating this in any particular way. So this This particular handling is called as in-hand manipulation. The children 5 to 6 years were able to manipulate more precisely when compared to the younger children between 3 to 4 years. So there is a remarkable difference which you can see that the in-hand manipulation is being more precisely done in 5 to 6 years rather than the children between 3 to 4 years. Now, refining the art of drawing. Now, as we have already discussed earlier, the art of drawing requires the movements. That is, one is proximal movements and other one is the distal movements. When do you say that it is a proximal movement? It indicates that the movement happening in the entire joint. That is the arm. Whole arm movement is called as the proximal joint movements, and the primitive grip to using a fine finger or wrist movements. So this is what is called as with the mature pencil grip, we can say. So the primitive grip or proximal joint usage is more in case of younger children aging 3 years to 4 years, and in older children from 5 to 6 year mature grip and more distal joints are being used. So the grip, you can see that primitive grip and proximal joint grip is more precisely seen in younger generation, age between 3 years to 4 years in this particular study. And older children, the mature grip is being more seen, and distal joints are more finely used in case of in the children older than between 5 to 6 years. The gender differences in the early years, this is one which shows that the girls were performing than boys, which is indicating the girls are doing much better in the younger age group, with the girls tending to demonstrate more advanced qualitative skills than boys. The more advanced skills are being demonstrated in the early age by girls rather than boys, but boys also demonstrate a significant change in this, but this graphical representation gives more highlight towards the girls performing. The performance is much higher when compared to the boys. Now, this research ended up into a result wherein the clinical implications includes how the skill is developing, and it is vital for therapists, educators and parents to understand that each process takes step-by-step movements in order to develop into a more fine and processed manner. So the qualitative approach provides a roadmap for better assessment and support. So enhanced observation, targeted intervention, early detection and improved outcomes. These are the four major aspects which is being highlighted by this particular research. So the enhanced observation encourages and provides us a framework beyond the scores to identify specific developmental pattern which is developed by the child. The targeted interventions, which after observation, the targeted intervention is being followed. So the targeted intervention allows the therapist to identify the skill which is specific to particular task, like that of a grip type or manipulation. So the grip can be a hook grip, it can be a spherical, cylindrical. All these grip to identify and manipulate accordingly is being done by the targeted interventions by the skilled therapist, plays a vital role in this aspect. Early detection, it is helping to spot atypical development sooner by comparing against clearer qualitative milestones. So it is important to identify where exactly the lacking is taking place and how the targeted therapy can be approached in order to develop these functions. This is very important rather than just going into a cyclical movement of doing activities which is not really going to help the child in achieving the task which is actually needed. So the improved outcomes leads to more effective support, helping more children achieve their developmental potential. So this particular study has incorporated the identity and identification, how the importance, how important it is that all three, the therapist, educators, the parents have to come into together to identify what qualitative approaches to be, or qualitative aspect of milestone, developmental milestones need to be considered when the child is being trained to have a grip. So the qualitative skills depends on how effectively we identify and do the needful. So this is about a study which has been done by Faber et al. For your reference, you can refer this particular article, which is significantly showing the importance of all three core persons around the child who need to observe and who need to train accordingly. Thank you.